Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps. Culture Gaps.
Welcome to Culture Gaps, the podcast where we talk about famous movies that one or both of us has not seen. My name is Greg.
Oh, and I'm Mike.
That's Mike. And today we're going to be talking about a little movie called Friday the 13th. It's the 13th movie in the Friday franchise, as has been
Yes.
established. This one I don't believe features Ice Cube or Chris Tucker anymore. I think it's a completely new thing. Actually, weirdly, I think they completely rebooted it, and it's like an 80s horror movie.
That's crazy. Also,
Yeah.
wouldn't the 13th from a Friday be a Wednesday?
Oh, I don't know, man. I think it would be a Thursday, right? Because 14 days would be 2 weeks.
I don't know.
So 13 would be one less. Who knows, man?
But you have to count the Friday as the original.
I don't know.
Welcome to Culture
We're-
Gaps, where we do lots of math revolving around days of the week.
Yeah,
and-
I'm not in a position to be doing math right now.
Oh, I got my calculator out. I'm ready.
All right,
I got
then
my
you tell me
my Texas
how many
Instrument.
days between Friday and Wednesday?
The answer is I really see. You can have a calculator, but you need to know what to put into the calculator. So useless, right?
Seriously, that's what I keep telling everyone. Calculators are useless.
So, like math, this is a horror thing.
Yeah, like math, this is horrific,
Maths,
terrible to behold.
yeah. Why didn't you watch this movie, Greg? If you love horror movies so much, why didn't you watch one of the biggest named horror movies in existence?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
To answer it.
I haven't. I haven't seen any of these movies. I don't really know why. Well, no, I guess I do. I didn't always love horror. I used to actually hate horror movies for a really long time.
That's how the best friendships start.
Yeah, you hate someone for a
Yeah.
long time until you slowly, just through Stockholm syndrome,
Yes.
come to really enjoy them.
That's the purest form of love comes from hate. That exactly what you described is how my relationship works. I'm still
Yeah, I was
working,
gonna say,
still working
yeah.
on it. We're gonna get to love eventually.
That explains our friendship, too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Our friendship is strong because
Because I hate
hated
you. Oh, did you use past tense?
I did use past tense because I came around to loving you.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Friday the 13th. Friday the June.
So Friday the 13th, so that so yeah, I never saw it when I was younger.
Awkward.
Yeah, when I was younger, I didn't like horror movies, so I
Right.
avoided this because I mean it's obviously famous, but I just was like, yeah, I have no interest. And then as I got older, I mean, the other thing with this franchise is that like in the 2000s it became insane.
Huh. Yeah.
Right? Like this is Jason. And
This is Jason?
This is Jason.
I thought this was Mike
Myers. Yeah, that's Halloween.
Right.
I actually get them confused too because I've also never seen a Halloween movie.
Wow, I'm even less interested now that I know it's Jason. He's the one with the hockey mask, right?
That's correct.
Here's the thing
yes.
about no one cares about hockey. Why would I care about a guy in a hockey mask?
Well, because he's killing people. He's not playing hockey.
Is this a Canadian-made movie?
Probably.
All right. I don't know if I can watch this morally.
But yeah, just like, I remember like Jason X coming out. Like Jason is like in outer space now, and
Oh,
it's
that's
just
not
like
a porno.
no, it's not a porno. It's like in the 2000s, this franchise got absolutely bonkers, and so I just completely wrote it off as like, yeah, there's no merit to it at all. Why would I watch any of those movies?
That's what they do with every horror movie, right? Like Saw, Final
Yeah.
Destination,
Yep.
Halloween,
Hellraiser.
this
Hellraiser goes to space too.
yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. They just kind of
They run it into the ground. Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, at least that's what did happen. I feel like horror movies now have a slightly different pedigree. Like with elevated horror now and stuff, you get movies that are just, one-offs, or like, the new It movies, for instance, are just standalone, these two movies, and that's kind of it. They're not going to make more.
yeah, that's fair. So, are you gonna ask me why I didn't watch this movie?
No, I don't care. Let me tell you why you didn't watch this movie.
All right,
Because it's Jason and you don't care.
that's right. But I do want to cover one thing because I think you incorrectly describe how I feel about horror movies. I don't think it's fully true. Because
what did I
say?
say?
You say I don't like horror movies, and I don't think that's
Yeah.
true. I don't
That is
like
true.
almost all horror movies.
Okay. Okay. Really splitting hairs.
No, not really. Most, I want to say. Here's why. I don't like gore. Is really what it is.
Interesting.
Because I like horror, and there's exceptions, obviously. But I do
Yeah.
like certain genres within horror a lot. For instance, I love me a zombie movie, even though you hate them. I love them because they're survival movies.
Yeah, they're a little boring.
I love those. I'm also
Interesting.
what you don't like. I am a fan of vampires. So
Right. Yeah. Also boring.
yeah, these are the ones I like because it's not just some creepy ass rednecks in the woods trying to murder you. Don't like that. Except
Because that's real. That's why.
I don't like it because it's happening right now.
Yeah.
But there were movies, and I think I liked more as a kid, even, which is strange. I used to love the Chucky movies when I was younger. Just weird.
I've never seen those.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you should add them to the list. Yeah, Chucky movies. There's some random ones in there I really liked. I liked Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I feel like there's a bunch. Like every zombie movie I liked. I'm trying to think of ones that are not zombie movies, so it's kind of hard. But stuff like Saw, I hate. I also don't like stuff like Paranormal Activity.
I thought
The
Paranormal
Ring.
Activity was boring as hell.
Yeah.
The Ring, I like. The first Saw movie, I was surprised by how good it was, to be honest.
That's strange.
The first one, because the first one is just like two guys in a room for an hour and a half. Like it's a
Right.
very slow burn of a movie. And then the later Saw movies become this horrible torture porn where it's just like, hey, do you want to just watch people suffer for 2 hours? It's like not really. But the first one has an interesting narrative, I think.
That's fair, and I can agree with that is the best of them, of the ones I've seen, because
Yeah.
I've seen multiple somehow.
Even though you hate them,
Somehow.
you saw them all.
I just like the little clown guy on the bike. What I don't like is gore, and I don't like things that are visually terrifying just for the sake of being visually terrifying. And I understand that's what horror is and that's something you'd like. But I don't like stuff like Insidious, just terrifying images of things that make you uncomfortably frightened. I like jump scares. I like survival situations. I don't like just like terrifying images for the sake of being terrifying. And I get
Wow.
it. People would like that for horror.
Yeah.
It's just not my cup of tea.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit. I I love when a movie can make me feel something on a visceral level like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing about horror for me is, as someone who has a lot of anxiety, horror can be kind of cathartic because it allows me to feel that anxiety in a kind of safe way, right? Where like in the same way that, someone might watch a tearjerker to just like cry and get it out of their system or something in a way that is not directly relevant to their real life. Sometimes I want to just watch a horror movie to sort of get myself out of my head. Like if I'm fixated on something in real life that I'm anxious about, it can be nice to just have a horror movie that just sort of startles you out of your own mind and makes you focus on something else where there are no real stakes because it's just a movie.
So instead of you worrying about your own life, you want to instead worry about being in the dark, walking and opening your door, because I get terrified after watching those things. Like walking in your house at night after watching a horror movie, no thank you.
Oh, I guess I guess that's the thing for me. When a horror movie ends, though, it's just like, okay, well, now the danger is done. The movie ended.
No
So
way.
now it's gone.
I
I don't have
watched
to worry about it anymore.
I watched Black Cadillac once in my life, and I'm afraid of everyone driving behind me at night now.
Wow.
Yeah. Afraid of dolls?
I guess maybe that's the thing is I'm already afraid of everything. So like horror movies aren't adding anything new to my head. That wasn't already
That's crazy.
there.
Wow. You're an insane person.
Yeah. I'm the Joker.
Well, here's the thing, and this is a fun fact. I think if we both name our favorite piece of horror media at the same exact time, we're going to name the same thing. You want to do it?
Oh boy. I guarantee it's not going to be the same thing.
No, I think
know
we have very similar tastes in what we like. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Predator.
Hereditary.
Did you say Predator?
I said Hereditary.
Oh, it sounded close.
Predator is not a horror movie. It's an action film with horror elements.
Whew, it's also not. I think Dawn of the Dead is my favorite.
Really?
I don't know. I really also like
Which Dawn of the
House
Dead?
Haunting a House in the Hill. I really liked a lot. So
The haunting of Hill House.
yeah, the Hill.
The Mike Flanagan one. Yeah.
Oh, you know
I-
what? I take it all back. It's Cabin in the Woods.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that's.
Yeah, because
Really?
it's
But
it's a
that's a little
satire.
more comedy, though. I mean, are you sure you don't want to choose like Shaun of the Dead
No, that's definitely
or What We
comedy.
Do in the Shadows?
No, because I think Cabin in the Woods is more horror than these things because it is genuinely frightening at times.
What? Cabin in the Woods is frightening.
Greg, you're desensitized.
I guess I am. Like that movie is
Wow.
a pure comedy. Like that movie to me is the same exact tone as Shaun of the Dead.
That's crazy. If you want to go there, then yeah, Shaun of the Dead's definitely the best movie of all time.
Wow.
So yeah, if you want to go there, Greg, I love horror movies. My favorite movie is a horror movie.
I mean, I think you do kind of. I think that is what we're discovering is that you do like a lot of horror movies.
I do.
It
Not
seems
allowed
like
to
what-
watch them though.
It seems like what you don't like is when horror movies are just
Scary.
just gross,
Yeah.
just gross and disturbing for the sake of being startling. Like you don't want a movie
Right.
that's just like cheap scares and cheap gross outs and stuff.
Right.
You want there to be substance to it or
Yeah.
comedy or just a point to it.
Yeah.
Something to take away.
Yeah, because if I wanted that stuff, I'd watch Man on a Wire and be more terrified than anything.
Yeah. Maybe someday I'll Someday I'll make you watch Hereditary and you'll hate me forever and never speak to me.
I'm not. I just won't. Yeah, I'll pretend I watched it. Wow, I do not want to watch that. You've described it to me. So
Have I?
yeah, Friday the 13th is the movie we're gonna do. We
Yeah.
know why we haven't seen it.
Yep.
We hate hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, what do we know about the movie already? Right? What's our expectation of the movie?
What I think happens in this movie is there's like a summer camp and a bunch of horny teenagers get murdered one by one until there's just a final girl who remains alive. And then she eventually, quote unquote, kills Jason. It appears that she has killed Jason. And then she goes back to her life. And then at the very last moment, we find out through a jump scare that Jason is still alive. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that is also my prediction, except I also think there's a lake.
Yeah,
that's my
for
only
sure.
addition.
Well,
right?
that I guess that goes hand in hand with the camp part
Right.
in my mind.
Yeah, it's
when I
at
said
a-
it's at a
lake
camp,
camp.
there's got to be a lake there. Yeah,
Right. Because he comes out of the lake like a swamp creature.
Camp Crystal Lake, right?
Right.
Are we talking about Halloween though? This is what I don't know
Oh,
because
I don't know.
I haven't seen either of these franchises, so I
Wait.
genuinely don't know if Camp Crystal Lake is Halloween or Friday the 13th.
Jason's the one with the machete, right? He's a.
Yes, yeah,
I remember-
for sure. Right?
I remember the
Or
worst
do they
kids
both have
dressing up as
machetes?
Jason in Halloween. Oh, I said Halloween and Jason, the same thing. For Halloween, the worst
Yeah.
type of kids were dressing up as Jason. I remember that.
Interesting. I mean, all you need is a hockey
You're like-
mask, right?
Put my Jason costume away.
No, I just don't know anyone who ever dressed up as Jason.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. It happened a lot when I was younger.
Anything else you think happens in this movie?
Does he use a chainsaw? No, that's not this. Just a machete. No, I think it's exactly what you're describing, which is why I
Yeah.
think this is going to be boring. I think it's going to have
Yeah.
gore, and it's going
It'll
to
be
be poorly
tropey.
done. Yeah, it's gonna be bad, Greg. It's gonna be bad.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm not gonna have fun.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, even if you don't have fun, it'll be fun to talk about how you didn't have fun.
I'm so scared already. I don't want to watch
Yeah,
it.
you're trembling. Your jaw is clattering.
All right,
All right,
let's watch.
let's go watch this movie.
I'm watching it with the lights on.
Fair enough. I'll watch it with the lights off. I jerk off.
Culture gaps.
Culture Gap.
We just watched Friday the 13th. What did you think, Michael?
Oh, I think on this podcast there's that occasional movie that is going to surprise us, like is surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Something that I go into thinking is going to be awful and come out and
Totally
it blows me
takes
away.
you by surprise and is incredible.
Yeah. There is always one of those movies, and this is not it. It's
Absolutely not.
not it at all.
No, this was like a total, just by the numbers, boring, slow, not scary
Nope.
movie.
I wasn't scared at all. I tell you
No,
what,
not scary in any way.
let's get this out in the open right now, because my expectations of Friday the 13th is that it's a Jason movies,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Turns out it's not.
Jason appears at the very end.
Yeah, it's a zombie child in a lake.
Yeah. Who may or may
There's-
not have been real. Yeah.
I was expecting a hockey masked Jason running around with a machete killing people.
Yeah, I was too, but to be honest, I wasn't mad that it wasn't that. I actually was kind of happier with the way it turned out because I thought it was a lot more interesting that it was his mom. Like, it actually took me by surprise. That was the moment. I mean, there were only 20 minutes left in the movie when it happened, but that was the moment where I was like, oh, so there is a story to this movie.
Yeah. Talk about motive, right? Mom
Yeah.
is killing camp counselors at a campground that other counselors who are long dead, owned by someone else who is long dead,
I don't know if they're
neglected
dead,
her
but,
child.
yeah.
Well, the guy who owns this Crystal Lake campground, he's a descendant of someone who used to have this open. He's getting it back up
Right.
and running.
Yeah, but
And-
it had only been like 22 years or something since it closed down. It wasn't
well-
that long.
Well, I'm assuming Mama killed them all because
Oh, that's true. We do see her kill two people at the beginning of the movie. back
Right.
in 58.
Oh my god. Like, why
She's
is she
like-
got to beef with these other people?
Well, she just doesn't want them to reopen the camp because she's like, I don't trust that anyone who works here is going to be sexually promiscuous and negligent, and they're not going to look after the children.
Well, she's not wrong.
I know they are very promiscuous. In this
There's no
movie.
kids there yet, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you expect a group of like 6 teenagers to do before the children arrive. And they're given
Sex.
complete free reign. Yeah, they're gonna fuck.
Oh, yeah. Strip Monopoly.
Yeah, strip Monopoly.
First thing I would think of, strip Monopoly.
Yeah, it's like one of the more boring games to be stripping to. Like the point of strip poker is that the hands go really quickly, so you're losing articles of clothing pretty fast.
No, you got to land on Park Place to get that blouse off.
Right.
Yeah, this movie, man, not scary at all.
No, that was something that I guess I had kind of mixed feelings about, because on the one hand, there was part of me that kind of liked that this movie wasn't the tone and pacing of this movie is like pretty slow and patient, and it's not as just like dumb and dive in head first into the gore kind of thing as I was kind of expecting. Like I thought this was going to be like a big dumb slasher movie, and it's a little more
It was a slower, more boring slasher movie.
yeah, it's more exactly, which I kind of liked in some way, but it also made it tough to get through.
It's because the only interesting parts were when they weren't doing that stuff. It was just following the characters and see what they were doing was kind of more interesting than, I don't know, a head first slasher movie.
Right.
I don't know. Just seeing what they're doing at the campground, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it's just a slightly more like thoughtful, slower paced horror movie, which those are the types of horror movies I tend to like. But I think the big issue with this movie is that the pacing gets completely thrown by the fact that there isn't really anything happening and there isn't a story until like an hour and 10 minutes into it. And that's also the point at which a character finally even knows that murders are happening. Like that's the other weird part of this movie is none of the characters have any idea they're in any danger or that anything weird is happening until the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Because it all takes place in one night, in one storm.
Yeah.
So they just assume people are going off to have sex and stuff.
Yeah.
Play other board games.
Again, is another thing I kind of admire about this movie. It's a small cast, it's a small set. It all takes place in one night. It's relatively real time. Like on paper, it sounds like it could be really good. It's just that it's really boring instead. There are moments in it I liked. Like there's some nice camera moves and stuff and some nice shots, but I don't know.
The camera is exactly, I think, the reason why I didn't find this movie scary is because the murders of this movie are done from the point of view of the camera. You are the killer.
Right.
I'm not afraid of dying if it's from my perspective. I'm just killing. Like, what's so scary about that?
Yeah,
it's like a first-person shooter or something. I'm playing this game.
Yeah, you weren't scared because you felt like you were the killer.
I was in control.
That's hilarious. Well, what's interesting is this movie, does that POV thing that I think it became sort of a trope. I think Halloween actually kind of popularized it. Halloween came out 2 years before this, and this is like even by the filmmaker's admission, this is a direct ripoff of Halloween. Which I'm wondering why we didn't just watch Halloween instead.
Well, because Dan told us it was bad, but what we didn't find out first was that Friday the 13th was also bad.
I think we should. I mean, Halloween is a John Carpenter movie. I mean, it can't be that bad, right? Anyway,
it's got to be better.
I just find it interesting that the year after this, The Evil Dead came out, which Sam Raimi takes that POV camera of the villain and cranks it to 11, where he's like attaching it to a bike and then riding the bike so that the camera moves really fast as it's chasing the characters. And it's like, it's genuinely, it does make you feel afraid when you watch Sam Raimi's camera. But in this, it's just like you say, it just kind of takes you out of it. It just feels like, oh, okay, well, I'm just like watching this happen from a distance.
It looks like I'm watching someone play a video game almost, because you just see like the hand grab a knife and it's just holding the knife out in front of the camera, slowly moving towards someone.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this is a very, very low budget movie.
Yeah.
So, I admire what they were able to do with so little money. This cost $500,000.
That seems like a lot of money to me to make this movie.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, for, Evil Dead looks, just as good, if not better, and that was made for way less. But
it's on my list.
I know, yeah, we're gonna have to do that after this. You can see like an actual good low budget horror movie from this era.
Wow.
One thing I did really like, though, there was one particular kill that I thought was very good.
All right,
which was Kevin Bacon's death.
Oh my God. So let's just talk about the fact that Kevin Bacon is in this movie.
Right? I
did not expect
so
it.
surprised. I turned to Jeremy and was like, is that Kevin Bacon? Or is that
It's
someone who looks just like him?
Right? No one looks just like Kevin Bacon.
I don't know. He's got a brother, right?
Does he?
I don't know. Jeremy said he did. Apparently they have a band together. This is all news to me.
Huh. Yeah, I was very surprised he was in there. Young Kevin Bacon.
I know.
Because I hadn't heard that about... Literally, the only thing I have heard about Friday the 13th is that Jason's running around with a hockey mask. And that wasn't a thing. So all of this is news to me.
I feel like people forget that the first Friday the 13th is the mom and not Jason. Because all of the subsequent movies are just about Jason. I don't think Mrs. Voorhees ever comes back.
No, how did this movie become such a cultural phenomenon from this movie? It's insane to me.
So it's a couple things. One is that Halloween came out 2 years before, and that was a huge hit. And as I said, the filmmakers were intentionally trying to rip that off. The other thing they were trying to cash in on was the year before this, the Bill Murray comedy Meatballs came out, which is about a summer camp, and that was a huge hit as well. So they were like, okay, young people really like slasher movies and camp movies about teens. So they went out of their way to merge these things to have the most youth appeal for like what kids wanted to see at the time. And it turns out that they were just dead on. This is just what kids wanted to watch. And I said this movie had a budget of $500,000. It went on to make $40 million at the box office. So it did insanely well.
That's crazy. Is that why they went and made it Heavyweights?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Where
I think that Heavyweights
Ben
was
Stiller's
in the 90s,
a slasher
right?
at a camp.
Yeah, Ben Stiller is just murdering the little fat kids one by one.
Giving them heart attacks one by one.
Oh boy, I forgot about that movie.
I loved that movie.
That movie would not get made now, I don't think.
No. It will get watched now, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, I realized I cut you off. You were talking about a kill you really liked, because Kevin Bacon really sidetracks anybody.
Yeah, well, I liked his death in this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, he just is lying in bed, and then all of a sudden this, like, arrow pierces his throat from under the bed. I thought that was really interesting. Like, most of the other kills in this movie are just really straightforward, just like a hatchet in the face or whatever. But that one was kind of inventive and interesting. It was something I hadn't seen. I've seen a lot of horror movies, and that was an interesting one.
I mean, was Mama hiding under the bed this whole time?
I think so.
Did she? Wasn't she like spying on them? Like,
yeah, she was listening to them.
You think she slipped under real quietly and?
She might have.
Yeah,
we know she was in the cabin because she had Ned's body in there before.
Right.
They were just fucking under that dude's corpse.
I like how you know his name.
I remember his name because I wrote down he's the worst.
That's fair.
Ned is just awful. He's
I
so
wrote down
obnoxious.
the name Annie because
Oh,
I thought Annie was the main character.
yeah,
And I was
total
like, this will be the
misdirect.
last person to die.
Yeah, she's the final girl.
Yeah.
Nope. She was a red herring.
So weird. It's funny because she had the scariest scene of the movie, in my opinion.
When she's trapped in the car.
Yeah, when she
Yeah.
is trapped in a car. I'm like, this is a horror film, a short horror film right here. For
I
women.
agree. Way scarier, just the very real danger of her being trapped in a car with a stranger who won't slow down or let her out. That's scary.
I even thought it was scary when she got in the car with the first old guy.
Oh, and he like touches her butt as she's getting in.
Yeah, a little handsy man.
Yeah. Ugh, gross.
He says
But
some
yeah.
crazy stuff in there. Ugh.
Like I think the whole Annie thing was meant to be a misdirect, because that's a sort of common way to just play with your expectations. Done much better in Scream, I think, but just to introduce you to a character who seems like they'll be the main character and then they die immediately. But I think the issue with doing it in this movie is that it just makes this movie feel like there's no center to it, or there's nothing to follow. Like, as I said, it feels like there's no plot until the last 20 minutes when Mrs. Voorhees shows up.
Yeah, I guess it took until that moment to realize that Alice was going to be the
Right.
like the person. that
Yeah,
was
the
gonna
final
survive.
girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's an issue with the movie's pacing in general, though, where you think you should latch on to Annie and then she dies. So then you're like, oh, I guess I have to care about these other kids. But then they're kind of boring and then they just die pretty quickly. And then you're just kind of like, well, I mean, what am I following in this movie?
Yeah. How about that snake?
That was upsetting.
Right?
Because you could tell that was a real snake that they just murdered.
Oh, for sure.
They just straight up killed a snake for no reason.
In a scene that was absolutely pointless.
Yeah, I actually wrote down. So I thought it would have a point because I wrote down
I did
that
too.
it was interesting how they freaked out so like it devolved into chaos immediately. Like pillows coming apart and like people just like smashing things around the room completely recklessly. I was like, oh, okay, if just seeing a snake makes these teenagers go crazy, then as soon as they realize they're being killed, they're going to all panic and go crazy. And it was just like, no, none of them even knew it was happening. They all just died quietly without knowing that it happened to anybody else.
Yeah.
And none of that mattered.
Until all the bodies were like put on display for Alice towards the end.
Were they? I only remember their. Oh yeah, that's right.
They
There's
all
a
ended up
couple
in like the
outside
same
cabin.
spot.
Yeah, that's true.
Strung up on the back of the door.
Yep.
You know what I did like for a scene is that cop showed up.
The cop who shows up and is asking them if they're like smoking weed.
Yeah. and the old guy who shows up, because they really set the tone for this movie, and it felt like this was, I don't know, like an abstinence movie, or they really don't want you doing drugs or having sex, so this is what
Right.
happens at the campground.
Yeah.
The old man's just like super religious, and he's like, I'm speaking on behalf of God. God sent me.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. That whole guy was just so over the top. And it also just made me think, how much of Cabin in the Woods is directly just parodying this movie specifically. In
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods, there's like they make this whole thing about how someone has to warn them not to go. It's like the guy at the gas station. They're like, okay, they got the warning from the Harbinger. Like, we're on track. It's like there's all these cliches of, if you have sex, you die. It's just the classic, teenagers in the woods movie.
God, I love Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, me too.
Just talking
But it's interesting. I think that might be part of also why we're struggling with this movie is looking back on this movie, which is so tropey And like so much of what is in this movie has been repeated so many times and then parodied in movies we love, like Cabin in the Woods, that I think watching it now, it just feels like, wow, really? That's it?
Yeah, we're going back and watching a movie from 1980 where everything about it has been made fun of and repeated for
Right. 40 years.
40 years. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
kind
the
of
tough
set
part.
ourselves up for failure there.
I know. There are parts of this movie that I thought were admirable and worked well, but there were also parts like the lightning and the thunderstorm that's clearly just someone turning on a light and then turning it back off.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was worried because I was watching this in the dark, alone,
Yeah.
and then like it started, and I was not worried anymore.
Yeah, you were.
As soon as
Yep.
Annie got killed with the fake
Oh,
neck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not scary at all. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was interesting, I guess, to go back and see, the sort of, this is considered like an absolute stone cold classic of the horror genre. But to be honest, I don't think I would recommend this to anybody unless it was someone who said that they were obsessed with horror and had never seen it. I'd be like, it's not great, but you should watch it just to know.
Yeah.
But there's no reason for anyone to watch this movie at this point, I don't think.
I'm gonna recommend it in the weirdest scenarios. That's just gonna happen. Someone's
yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh, I love Footloose so much," and I was like, "Oh, you love Kevin Bacon movies?" And I'm gonna force them to watch this.
Yeah.
Maybe they love Bad Moms, that comedy.
Ooh,
And I'm gonna be
Bad
like, "Oh,
Moms.
you like Bad Moms? Go
Check out Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th."
Huge spoiler.
Man, I wish Dan warned us on this one too.
I feel like we shouldn't have listened to him. We should have just watched Halloween.
We should have just watched Les Mis.
No. Nah, I'm good.
You know what did happen though? I watched 2 movies this week.
Oh,
I watched Friday the 13th,
Yep.
and spoiler alert, I did not enjoy it at all.
Yeah, we
Clearly
not
we
really
got
a
that.
spoiler. We just talked about
Yeah.
it at length.
And I watched Sing 2.
Oh boy.
Much better.
I have trouble buying that.
No, I enjoyed it probably like 10 times more than this.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How can you multiply something so low?
Yeah, I mean, I guess overall, I felt like this was a movie that I don't fully understand why it became such a huge thing overall
Timing.
with movies and horror movies in general. Because even reading about like the response to it at the time it came out, people were like, yeah, this just feels like a Halloween ripoff. So I don't know. I don't really fully understand why this became a huge thing. But I don't know. I guess it had a couple moments that were enjoyable to me as a horror fan. I gave this movie a 3 out of 10.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
You're going lower for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This was. I'm not as big of a horror fan as you. I like some horror. We've been over this.
Only if it's a comedy.
Only if it's a comedy or if it's like a fantastical horror genre.
Or zombies, yeah.
Or survival, yeah. But on top of that, this didn't deliver on any of the horror stuff I do like. It wasn't even scary at all.
Nope.
And on top of that, it was boring.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a waste of time to watch that movie. And I gained nothing from putting that on.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no scenario I would ever watch this movie again. I'm giving it a 1 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I
just
get it.
not for me.
Yeah. I wrote down it too. I can't see myself ever watching this again. So
Yeah. In
Agreed.
fact, I can't see myself watching any Friday the 13th after this.
that's a really interesting thing because these movies got so wild in the later things. Like there's a movie where like Jason goes to hell. Like it gets insane. He goes to space at one point.
They elaborate on his backstory. He's like a demon, right? He's like an immortal.
I have no
demon
clue.
child.
I haven't seen any of them, but I guess it's like my conception of the reason why I thought this movie was going to be just like one of those like headstrong, dumb horror movies that's just an excuse to like watch people die with nothing behind it. You know, is because these movies get so crazy later, and that's all they really are in those later movies, at least to my understanding. So that's why this movie was so surprising with how like slow and quiet it is, and the fact that Jason isn't even in it.
Yeah, it's also nuts that horror movies in particular get overdone like crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy movies, Chucky movies, Halloween.
Yeah, they just keep
all
making sequels.
Just keep making them. Or Predator. They just keep making more of those horror movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess there's just a lot of like franchise potential there. I think horror movies are just lucrative. People like going to the theater and getting scared with their friends.
I guess so. They were always, when I worked at the theater, they were always packed.
Yeah.
Like they would sell out and they would always be the ones I'm like, really?
Yeah, like this movie looks like
surprised
shit.
every time. It looks okay, Saw's coming out. Oh, put it in a small theater. Nope. Sold out.
Well, so one thing I think is interesting, there's a quote from Jordan Peele where he talks about how he thinks comedy and horror are related, or at least very similar, because they're both seeking to get an involuntary reaction out of the audience. So I think the same reason why you would want to go to a comedy with your friends or a big group at the theater is the same reason why you would want to go to see a horror movie, is so that you can have that group experience of like, you know, being startled or having something involuntary outside of yourself that the movie is making you feel. I think that's why they're so popular, especially in theaters.
I don't buy that horse shit.
You don't buy it, or you just don't like it?
Well, no, because if I'm going to see a comedy or a horror movie, I'm going to fake being scared and laughing.
Oh, you just fake it every time?
Yeah, I'm just in the back going, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
You're there. Yeah.
Faker.
Yeah, because I don't know. When have I ever laughed for real?
That's a good question. I don't think I've seen it.
I've never been scared either.
No. All right. You got a trivia game for me, Mike?
Oh, Greg. Guess what I have for you this week?
Trial by trivia?
What the hell, man? Yeah, you stole my thunder a little bit, but I've got, this is how it works, Trial by trivia. I got 5 questions for you.
Yeah.
I may or may not know the answers to them. We'll find out as we go, as usual.
Right. Independent fact checkers are back.
Yeah. And so let's start with question number 1. How many different murder weapons did the killer use in this movie?
That's a good question. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we don't even see most of them. I'm gonna guess like 8.
Wow. I may have phrased this a little weird. Not specific different objects, but like types of objects, I'd say.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Like an arrow would be one object.
Okay, got
Even
it.
if it's used more than once. Yeah.
Okay, so then, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 5 or 6.
The answer's 3.
That's not true.
I looked up all the kills by person, by murder, and it's a hunting knife.
There's a machete.
Not used by the killer.
Yes, it is. She's swinging it.
Someone.
Oh, that's true. She's just swinging it. She never uses it to kill the woman at the end.
Yeah. Wasn't the murder weapon by her.
I was thinking weapons that she wielded, because I was also thinking,
there was like a board and like a...
Yeah, and I was like, there was an oar, a wooden oar.
Yeah. It is... Yeah. Okay,
There's
so one person dies
axe.
by an axe, right? 2 by arrows, 6 by hunting knife. And the cause of death of Brenda is unknown still. We don't know. That's a lot of hunting knife.
It is. You also don't see the hunting knife in a lot of them.
Yeah, what's crazy is that's not my trick question.
Wow. It was just a convoluted one.
Yeah, sorry. So the answer is 3.
Mm.
Okay. Question number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Miller, the writer of this movie, was also a writer on which television soap operas? I'm going to take one. I want to know one answer. But there are 2.
Days of Our Lives?
Real close.
I don't really know many soaps.
He wrote All My Children and General Hospital. His
Classics.
if you look at all his movies, it's all Friday the 13th movies and then like these 2 soap operas. It's insane.
Wow. Yeah, I guess if you hit on something successful, you just keep doing it.
Oh, for sure. Why do you think we're doing this podcast?
Yeah.
Number 3, the question.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the only person in the movie that is killed on screen by someone other than Mrs. Voorhees?
Mrs. Voorhees?
Damn. Yeah, that was my trick question, but you got it.
Oh, yeah, she gets decapitated. It's pretty memorable.
Yeah, well. All right, you got it.
Yeah.
Question 4. One of your favorite types of questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about ratings, but it is about the domestic box office.
Great.
In the domestic box office for 1980, did Friday the 13th rank higher than its day of the month? Let me phrase that in a way that you'll
what?
understand it. Did it rank in the top 13 movies
Of 1980?
Yep.
Probably.
Probably is your answer. What?
Yes. It's a yes or no.
It ranked 15th.
Okay.
Close,
Close.
but it didn't hit that 13th mark.
Not quite.
Question number 5. We're going off of format a little bit here. You like that, right?
Oh, yeah, I love when
In
we break
that-
format.
I don't have an answer to this. You have to figure it out. It's more of a puzzle.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Jason. Who's your favorite Jason?
Who's my favorite Jason?
Yeah, in movies or TV. Jason Alexander, Jason Momoa, Jason
Biggs. There's Jason Lee. Let's say Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander. 6 Degrees to Kevin Bacon. Go.
Oh, God. God, what movies has Jason Alexander even been in?
Well, you can use TV.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Okay, Seinfeld. Who should I choose who's been on Seinfeld? Jeez.
Wonder if Kevin Bacon's ever been in Seinfeld.
Here's the issue. I don't really know who. I haven't seen that many Kevin Bacon movies.
You haven't?
Yeah, what has he been in with other people?
He's been in Footloose.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I don't know who else is even in that movie. And I've seen The Woodsman, but I don't know who else is in that. I know he was in Hollow Man, but I don't know any other actors who were in that.
Mystic River.
Oh, I did see Mystic River.
Oh.
Sean Penn was in that.
All right.
So I guess I could
Sean Penn.
I could try to get to Sean Penn.
Okay, Tremors.
God, what the fuck else has Sean Penn been in? I've never seen Tremors, and I don't know who else is in it.
You've never seen Tremors?
No.
Oh, we gotta put that on the list.
That's going on the list.
That's another one that's beat to death, but I actually I like Tremors.
Yeah.
He's in X-Men First Class. Kevin Bacon.
What? He is?
Yes, he is.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, is he the bad guy or something? Yeah,
Yep.
he's like the villain in that, right?
No one ever knows who the bad guy is in X-Men. That's the point.
I don't know.
Yeah,
can
we're
I
gonna
just
have to-
can I just call my boy up and
Yeah, call someone.
Get a hint?
Call someone else.
All right. Beep boop beep boop beep boop beep. Ring 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 ring. The number you have dialed is no longer available. Well, I guess I'm shit out of luck. No one answered.
Beep.
Oh, I just got a beep. That was weird. Does that mean I have a voicemail? Hold on, let me... Oh, I do have a voicemail. Let me hit play on this voicemail real quick. Boop. Oh, it was just silence. I guess it was a butt dial again. The hint hotline is broken, I guess. I don't know. I'm bad at this stuff.
Yeah, well, I thought you'd be able to do it much easier.
No, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know any movies Kevin Bacon has been
I
in.
told you, X-Men First Class.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Who the fuck was in that? James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer
J-Law.
Lawrence.
All right.
I can't do this. I have no idea who has been in what.
You know what? That's fair. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give out a gift to the first person who can comment on our video. The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon and Jason Alexander.
I love it.
We're going to give him a gift.
A gift.
A GIF.
A GIF.
Yeah.
Like for your birthday.
Yeah. So whoever can do that, including you, if you want to comment on it.
Yeah, I'll just look it up and then I'll comment.
To be honest, the way you're going right now, I don't think you'll figure it out even if you had IMDb.
Maybe.
So enough of this Friday the 13th bullshit. What movie are we doing next time?
Next time, Michael, we're going to talk about a movie you haven't seen that I have. And it's a really recent one. We've been doing a lot of older movies, but this movie came out this year in 2022.
2022. Cult classic?
Soon to be, for sure.
Wow. What made you pick a movie that came out this year? Because we don't normally do that.
Well, I thought it would be nice to mix things up, watch something more modern. But also after the response to Swiss Army Man, the love and support that poured out from our fans.
Oh my God. So much love and support from our fans. Thank you all for listening. We love you so much.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice to do the Daniels' next movie that they did after Swiss Army Man called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Damn, Daniels.
Damn, Daniels.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because I knew this. Yeah. In fact, I'm very excited to watch this movie because this just gives me an excuse to watch it.
Yeah.
Came out, and now I get to see it. You beat me to it, but...
I did. I watched this a couple weeks ago, and I adored it. I thought it was incredible, a special once every, 10 years kind of movie. It's like really deeply special in my opinion. So I'm very curious to hear what you think.
Man, when did that 10-year counter start? Swiss Army Man for sure falls in that category.
In the last 10 years, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You'll see when you watch it. I think it's just a really special movie.
I'm excited. I've seen the trailer, so I'm ready. It's just one I've wanted to see.
Yeah.
Where can I watch it? Where can we all watch it if we wanted to prepare for this next episode?
By the time this comes out, it might be available for rental.
Okay. So, if you have the money, watch it. If not, Sing 2 is free right now on Netflix.
Well, it's not free. You have to pay for Netflix.
Well, yeah. Well, who doesn't have Netflix? All right, so let's just do it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the next episode of Culture Gaps.
Kill her, mommy. Kill her, mommy. Kill her, mommy. I will, Jason.
Culture Gap.